Hello and welcome to Kelly's Cooking on the Cheap. I am doing a video today on my $20 or less than $20 Thanksgiving meal. It came to $19.20 and I'll show you right here the breakdown of what I got. But here, let me show you. Alright, so I bought a bag of cranberries, and it was cheaper doing it then than buying the can. And I will say I'm not a big fan of this, and I like the can, like the jelly type, but you know, they say as you get older your taste buds change, so I'm giving it a shot. Plus, with it being $1, I could not go wrong. One of the things I did splurge on was these potatoes. They're the bite-sized ones, and I'm probably just going to make a smashed potatoes. That's what my husband requested that I do. And I should have first said that I'm doing a unconventional Thanksgiving. Like I've said it before in a previous video, I'm not big on the turkey for Thanksgiving, but I do like lunch meat turkey. So I got a ham. I got a half a ham. Here, I'll show you a little closer. Here it is. They had this, and they also had a honey ham. I went with this because I'm doing the family of 3, and this would be a good meal for 3. With maybe a little bit of leftovers. So, and this is already pre-sliced. Here, let me bring you in a little closer, huh? There we go, a little better. Sorry about that. I've got 2 cans of green beans, some stuffing mix, which I'm going to do a little different. I found a recipe that I had earmarked in a cookbook that I have, which the recipe I saw includes celery and an apple. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to snatch some of these cranberries instead of the apple and put it in the stuffing. And then a package of rolls, their brand of Hawaiian rolls, and then a dessert. And I know I'm doing an unconventional dessert for Thanksgiving, which if week or so ago I did a pumpkin one. Today I've been seeing other people do banana pudding desserts, so that is what I'm going to do. That's been sounding good. So I got me 1 banana, sugar-free Jell-O, and the pie crust, which I've already washed the top. That's why you see it as like this. But first, let's go ahead and get the ham on. And I probably do it differently, but I cook my ham in the crock pot with the green beans, juice and all, because I like my green beans salty. And I know it goes against to what I've said, that I don't cook much with salt, but I love my green beans on the salty side. So let's go over here and get that a-going. And normally I cook, I think what I've seen best with the ham in the crock pot is about 4.5 hours. And anything longer, I think gets dried out. And today is a Sunday, and we're going to church this evening. So it's about 3 o'clock here, our time. So by the time this would get done, we'd be about back. And there's going to be one thing that I'll do after when we get back from church, and that will be the potatoes. And I'll probably cook those in the Instant Pot and smash them up. Otherwise, the rest I will do ahead of time. But I just want to get the ham on. So let me grab the ingredients. And let me grab the scissors just a second. Actually, I just grabbed a knife. And let's see. And it says it's already fully cooked anyway. So, and I know I've got the oversized crock pot here, but I'm going to put the green beans in it. And I'm using my next smallest one because I'm going to go ahead and make the stuffing up after a while. And I'm just going to put it in the crock pot to keep warm during church. That way it's one less thing I have to make when we come back. So here we go. And I got this ham for $8.40. It was $4.49 a pound. And I will say, normally I like the Kentucky Legend ham, but if I'm tight, I went for this. Still $4.49's, I think, probably average. And I noticed some of the turkey prices at Aldi, and they had the humongous ones. And for a family of 3, we don't need a big one. I think this will do just fine. Plus, here in a couple weeks, we're going to go to my in-laws, and she'll probably be fixing a turkey anyway, so we'll have it then. So I've got the ham in. I'm going to add the green beans. Juice and all, like I said. Let me get the lid on. And then I'm just going to put this on low. Because like I said, it'll probably be cooking for about 4.5 hours to warm it up. So let's leave it at that for now. And let me go ahead and get these in the trash. Next, the cranberries need to cook, so I'm going to get the pan of water and cranberries simmering. Then once it's been simmering for a couple, then I'll add the sugar so it could simmer some more for a little bit. So let me get that hooked up and then we'll be back. So give me a second. All right, and I thought I was videoing it. So let me go back, and I've got my cranberries cooking. I didn't do it all, but I did save back some for the stuffing. But what I did was I saved this much out, put the rest in the bowl with 3/4 cup water, and I'm going by the directions on the back of the label. Once it starts simmering, then I'll add we'll come back and add the sugar. But let's go back, and I'm going to get working on the pie. So here we go. And I am making the banana pudding. I got my milk ready to go, and I'm going by the directions for a pie, which I've got 1 3/4 cup of milk. But before I finish, I'm going to cut in the banana. Oh, a couple bad spots in here, but it'll be fine. I don't know about you, I always peel the strings off. But here we go. If there's any left, I might mash it up in the with the pudding. All right, let's see. But it might take a whole banana. But like I said a couple minutes ago, the ones I like to watch on YouTube, they have been doing a version of banana pudding, and I was like, oh man, it's making me crave it, so we're doing it. Yeah, here in a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, I'm going to try and video me making my pumpkin cheesecake. And I'm so looking forward to it. My husband kind of mentioned it a couple weeks ago when I was trying to think of a dessert to make for you, which I did last week, a quick dessert. So this took all the banana. All right, so now I'm going to whisk the pudding in. Let me grab my whisk. Oh, this one. think I used my other one already, so we'll use that one. Yeah, if I had extra banana, I would have smushed it up in here for banana flavor. All right, I'm gonna let it sit for a minute to thicken. While that's thickening up for a minute, I hear the water simmering on the cranberries. So I grabbed a measuring cup. Granted, I did a full cup one, but all right, let me grab, I'm using stevia. So, and it calls for 1.5 cups of sugar. Since I don't have the full package, I might do at least 1 cup, but I know these can be tart. So that's almost 1 cup. I might as well finished it up. There we go. Finished up the bag. Now let me grab a spoon. I do have more sugar. I could always grab more. But in past times, using sweetener instead of the sugar, it's usually less is more on the sweetener. The only thing I don't like about the sweetener sometimes that it clumps up funny. But we'll keep stirring. All right, so we'll come back to this here in a few, and it needs to cook for about 10 minutes. So we'll come back here momentarily and check on it. So let's finish up the dessert, which I'm so looking forward to. All right. All right, it's thickened up, so let me get this in. Yeah, when I made the pumpkin dessert, I think it was last weekend, it's on my long video, and I did shopping at Kroger, and their brand of crust is like, I want to say around $2.30. Aldi's is $1 cheaper, $1.20 something. So it always pays to shop the deals. But at the time I was at Kroger, and I said, oh, what the heck, I'll just get what they have. I thought I was going to have to buy the name brand, and those were like $3. I miss the days when everything was cheaper. Oh, speaking of, my husband did come across in Facebook something on from the 80s. They went to 3 different grocery stores, and they bought food for a family of 6. And granted, back in the 80s, so 40 years ago, the meals ranged from anywhere from $15 to $18 for a family of 6. These days, with inflation, what I spent today would have been on the high end. So I think for what we have today, it's plenty. I'm not the type that likes to go hog wild and have all the fancy stuff. I want the comfort food. So let me get the top on, and we'll get this fresh, so that way we got about 4 hours, a little over, for it to chill. All right, so what you think? It's looking good. I forget where I was, or if it was from a job or from a church function, last year where they had a cranberry fluff, and I had found the recipe after I went shopping yesterday. So I am going to have to find it again and try it. Alright, so we'll come back in about 7 minutes or so, get that going and in the fridge. So come back and check it out with me. Alright, so the cranberry's done cooking. I am going to move it over to this dish and I can get it in the fridge to set. So this dish I'm using brings back a lot of memories from growing up. This I use for cornbread, but my mom would use one similar for apple crisp, a nice fall dessert. Alright, so got that. Now I'm going to have to soak that pan. I can't wait to try it later. So when we come back, I'll work on getting the stuffing made on the stove with this once this cooks down a little bit. I don't know how I envision the cranberries. I kind of like them to break up a little, so that's why I just turned up the heat a little. That way they can cook for a few minutes. I've got my butter ready to go when I cook it up, and normally I just use water, but I've got some chicken broth ready to go. I use just water and bouillon powder, and my stuffing mix, I got the herb. And one of the folks I like watching on YouTube, I like watching, sorry, I had brain fog moments. So I thought, well, I'll try what she did and use chicken broth. And the package said to use 1.5 cups of water. But I went ahead and just filled it up to the 2-cup mark, since I am going to have it in the crock pot. That way it doesn't get too dry. So here goes the sizzling. I like the sizzling. We'll see how it works. If we like it, then I might have to do this more often. Like I said, I couldn't kind of warm in the crock pot. I'm going to go ahead and put the dry mix in. That way it can toast it up. And I got this idea from one of the ones I like to watch. If you ever get a chance, it's Beautiful Chaos. I'll have to look it up. But her and her sister both each do one, and I really like watching them. Alright, while this is toasting, I'll let it toast for another few seconds. Alright, so while that's toasting up, I'm going to make a spot for the butter. I could have cut this up, but we'll let it melt while the crumbs toast. It does smell really good. Normally, I don't find the herb flavor in the I was about to say Target, the Aldi brand, so I couldn't pass it up. They also did, a couple weeks ago, I did find Hawaiian style cornbread there at Aldi. I had to buy a couple boxes because I was trying to stack up my pantry as well, but I haven't tried it yet. Sounds pretty good. It looks so colorful with the cranberries in it. And they are cooking down, so that's good. And I think I saved about the right amount of cranberries. But come the spring, I might have to try the apple. Alright, let's get the butter melted. I hope that you all had a nice weekend. It was awfully pretty, and the weather was out of season. It was in the 60s or low 70s yesterday. The guys went to go do pickleball while I went to go shop for this meal. But doing a lot better, sleeping a lot better at night, thankfully. Alright, so while that comes to a boil, this would have fit in my smaller one. Next time I will know. So here we go. Let me put the lid on. And we're good till after church. I probably will go ahead and check on it before we leave for church as I knock you guys around. And make sure it's still moist enough. Here's the ham and green beans. It's been cooking for a couple of hours. I did pop it to high. And maybe I'll put it back to low before we leave. Again, I will check it and see. So when we come back, I'll get the potatoes going in the Instant Pot, and then I'll work on the rolls, just heat them up. I'm playing with to butter them on top. We'll see. Otherwise, come back with me and we'll finish up dinner. Hello, welcome back. I got the mashed potatoes done in the Instant Pot, ready to go. But if you want to check out the meal already cooked, here's the stovetop. And I'm glad I did put the extra liquid in there because it kept it moist. Here's the cranberry. I'm interested to try. If it's good, I might have to get some more and make again. And here's the ham. Like I said, I did put it up to high earlier. Here's the green beans. And mashed potatoes. So for all of this plus dessert, here's what I got a piece ready for my cameraman. But there's the pie. All of this for $19.20. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to grab. It's rolls to go with it. So all of this you see for $19.20. So I think it's a fairly decent meal for a Thanksgiving for a party of 3. So have a good day. If you like this, please like and share along. And have a good evening.